It isn't exactly a big secret that Ultra Magnus is my all-time favorite character. The by-the-book boss man that transforms with both his truck and his trailer into one absolute super chad without even having to put his trailer in a storage pocket to justify the logic behind his existence. But I always felt that Ultra Magnus, as a leader, was kind of thrown under the bus a lot. I mean, for shit's sake, the literal second he got the Matrix, a planet-sized demon god that could smash a continent with his pinky finger comes out of ass backwards nowhere, and to add the cherry on top of this bullshit sundae he got served, an even more unhinged version of Megatron came out of nowhere and got a whole ass army rewarded to him for absolutely nothing. I swear to God, if I could sum up Ultra Magnus's entire leadership experience, it would pretty much look like this.
No matter how many times you save the world, it always manages to get back in jeopardy again. I mean, sometimes I just want it to stay saved, for a little bit. I feel like the maid. I just cleaned up this mess. Can we keep it clean for 10 minutes?
You get to that point.
So when a clickbait Ultra Magnus spoiler pack that was also a superior paint job and a Walmart exclusive came along completely out of nowhere, I said, yeah, I'm totally not getting that. Followed by immediately getting it off a third-party website for far too much money, and it's already on clearance in Walmart for $35. Fuck you, Hasbro. To top off my shit Sunday, the entirety of the internet was complaining that there were no spoilers despite the actual product descriptions saying what and where they were. Now that my issues with this godforsaken set are over, let's take a look at Battlemaster Rung. Rung transforms into a Cerebro scanner for Ultra Magnus to hold. The issue is he comes in a pink clear plastic for some reason along with some Energon cubes. It's kind of funny. I got into a conversation on bot posting and someone mentioned OR 13, an IEW version of a sort of unstable super Energon, and when I typed in OR as a siege code, it actually worked. The issue is it hasn't been installed on the website yet, so I have no way of knowing what it means. It only worked once and then it said invalid code followed by wanting to check if I was a robot. Rung is extremely basic and only has a ball jointed shoulder and thigh. It's pretty sad that a G1 Headmaster actually has more articulation than a modern Micromaster in the year 2020. They could have at least added elbow and knee joints and I would have been fine with that. His transformation is just flipping up his backpack, bringing up the arms and clipping the legs together. Ultra Magnus can hold him as a weapon or a scanner-like thing, which is pretty cool, and it does come with two blast effect pieces that use the standard issue box sets and Micromasters. The rest of the spoilers in the set are written in Cybertronian here, so if you want to decode them, good luck with that, because it's literally impossible to tell one letter from the other. Why does an L look the same as an E? God damn you, Hasbro! Now that we've covered Rung, let's take a look at the main event. Ultra Magnus transforms into what looks to me to be a rocket-powered battering ram. This alt mode's an homage to the RID 2001 design, only his character isn't a total piece of garbage. This alt mode is one of the few homages from the Unicron trilogy that I'm absolutely 100% on board with. This alt mode's sick as absolute shit and loaded up with a ton of guns, including his iconic missile blaster and also some armored rectangles. It also runs on propane and propane accessories. His G1 alt mode is perfect, and the G1 blaster he comes with is even more perfect. My issues start with the distribution of the paint for the battle damage. The perfectly crisp white and the harsh black don't blend in a way that they should in my opinion. You can definitely tell there was some effort put into it, but it feels a little bit too manufactured. Don't get me wrong, in his armored bot mode the paint scheme looks fantastic, but I wish they'd painted on some scratches on the window or something. Let's take a closer look at the cab alone, and this is where the issues start with me. Subtlety? What's that? You can just outright see his fist hanging off the back of his truck mode, and this annoys me less than it probably should. Sure, it's annoying, but I don't plan on having him in his cab mode, even if I do put him into his vehicle mode. Transforming is so simple it isn't even funny. It's pretty much the standard issue Optimus Prime with a creative slider hinge from the bumper. I don't feel like this transformation needs a ton of explanation, so I'll just let it play out in real time. Even in his white Optimus Prime robot mode, it still looks commanding as ever. The head sculpt with the gorgeous blue really makes this figure shine, and this head sculpt is absolutely perfect. The paint scheme also brings out sculpting a lot more than the original average retail release. The paint in terms of the battle damage works slightly better in its basic bot mode, but I still don't quite feel like it's where it needs to be. It does get better as it gets closer to his main robot mode, but goddamn, I never thought I loved this unarmored white Optimus Prime mode so much. I was never crazy about this part of Magnus to begin with, but I started to actually kind of like this design over time. It isn't the main event of the show, however, so let's get onto his armored bot mode and then we'll cover his articulation. Even though there's a couple of additional steps you probably have to do to get the armor to work, The armor forming on this figure is actually really heavily reminiscent of the fans project Ultra Magnus. The exhaust ports become his shoulder stacks and clip onto the sides of his smokestacks and latch on via a hinge. The sides of the trailer fold up on a bunch of hinges to become the legs and then slide on the sides after folding in the heel spurs. The fist gauntlets unclip from the roof of the trailer and fold around his arms on a 5mm port and peg. You slide down the slider joint after moving the torso forward, accordion up the roof of the truck, and clip it over his back and fold down the head. Ultra Magnus certainly is one chunky boy. He's extremely dense and thick in terms of plastic quality, but his paint scheme's to actually die for. This is the absolute perfect shade of blue for Magnus and pops much harder than the CW version. The battle damage effects still have gone a little bit too far with the black in the wrong areas that may have cost the vehicle mode some of its quality, but I absolutely love this figure. The head sculpt is almost too good to exist. He's chunky and beefy and... oh, yeah. I'm not thrilled about the height on this thing. I mean, Voyager class Sandstorm is right here and he's about the same height, if not maybe even a little bit taller. Yeah, Voyager Sandstorm. I understand that Hasbro probably doesn't want to make Ultra Magnus double the size of Prime, but I feel like the chunk on his bot mode should have been redistributed for additional height. When I got this set, I was hoping for that the articulation would at least make up for this, and I can honestly say it did. The head rotates 360 degrees, the shoulders rotate all the way around and move out, there's bicep bend in rotation, there's wrist rotation and waist rotation that's surprisingly unrestricted, universal hips, knee bend, and insane ankle tilt. While Combiner Wars Magnus has some compromised articulation because of his borderline masterpiece engineering that he includes, I feel like he's a little bit better than this figure. Honestly, I'm really happy with Siege Magnus, and his articulation does beat out CW Magnus. But all in all, the $60 this set retails for is actually kind of worth every penny in my opinion if you haven't gotten the average retail Magnus already. This guy will go nicely next to my Delta Magnus custom, proudly making the actual thumbnail of a Customs World video from T-Fan page 101. This is a set I highly recommend. He isn't as tall, but he has the chunk and he most certainly has the power and can deal with that now. This has been the Stop Motion Reviewer with my review on the Ultra Magnus Spoiler Pack. My next review, hopefully, if this wasn't an eBay scam, will be on Earthrise Skylings, and as I said about Top Spin and Twin Twist, I am tumped.